Welcome back to another episode of Andrew's Thoughts On. Today, I'm going to be talking about movie monsters. Yay! You can all stop clapping now, because then you won't be able to hear what I have to talk about. First, I want to start off by talking about movie monster designs. To me, what I love most about movie monsters, what makes them, I guess, monster-ish to me, there's lots of, different things about movie monsters, such as, their bodies, their hands, their mouths, their eyes, whatever's on top of their head, if they have horns or shit. But what always strikes me as most important for a movie monster is usually the mouth. Because they give good blowjobs. Am I right? High five. No. Okay. I'll give you some examples. Like fucking, if you've seen The Host, which is, I guess, a Korean movie, I guess the Langoliers, because that's all they are, mouths. But I always find it the coolest of how they design the mouths, whether it, peels back in different ways, like the Predator. The Predator has a kick-ass mouth, and that's, to me, the most defining feature of him. And when I say the most defining feature of him, I'm not counting the weapons and shit. I mean just him. If he was stripped of all his armor and everything, and it was just his design, the mouth would be what sells it. Because it's cool. Alien, 2 mouths. Most defining feature. Because everybody and their mothers remembers the dual mouth. Opens up, That always is the most memorable part for me, for movie monsters. And I wouldn't really count Godzilla. I don't really see him as much of a movie monster. Yes, he is a movie monster, but I'm talking about on a smaller scale of movie monsters. I'm not talking about the giganto motherfucking monster dude that's just crashing through the city. I mean small scale shit. People are locked in a warehouse, I don't know, or are in an airport, and there's some weird thing running around there going, and eating people. Now, of course, there's other things that make a monster, like the eyes. And I guess, as movie monsters go, I guess zombies can count. Usually zombie eyes are always different. 28 Days Later, they have really fucking kick-ass eyes. Their whole eye is red and the pupil's yellow. That's fucking awesome. That's the most memorable part of of the zombies in that movie. Or Super 8, which actually, that movie pissed me off about the monster thing, because the monster looked fucking great. And as soon as he was looking the kid right in the eye, he was holding him up, and you could see right into his eyes, and they're like, cool, and then his eyes came back, and they were human eyes. That pissed me off. That was the gayest thing they could have fucking done for that goddamn movie. I've seen a lot of Steven Spielberg movies, but that was the dumbest thing he's ever fucking done. It seems like every time Steven Spielberg makes a movie with aliens, they always have to make it gay. I mean it. Why would you make a monster have cute, cuddly eyes? And I know you want it so that it's, you want it to be a killer, but you're trying to make it misunderstood. Because that's what he was doing in the movie. He was trying to make it so that the monster was misunderstood. But they could have totally set it off. Because in the end, when he was talking to the thing, when he was talking to the fucking alien, he was like, I know you're misunderstood. We're going to help you leave. And that would have been fine. Like, oh, hey, it's misunderstood. It just wants to leave and go home. Sure, that's fine. But why do you have to make the alien monster a pussy? And give him, like, little fucking puppy dog eyes and shit? That's retarded. And then, like I said earlier, Langoliers, their design was fucking terrible. And I guess Stephen King didn't really give them much to work with. But I mean, they could have done a little bit better. Part of the fact that they're probably one of the worst movie monsters ever is because the CGI is terrible. If you don't know, the people that made the Langoliers are a studio called Republic Pictures, or Republic Productions, or whatever. And they are possibly the worst movie makers ever. They're high budget, or they used to be, back in the 90s and 80s. They were a big budget company, but they fucking sucked at everything they did. I own a copy of Langoliers, and I also own a copy of The Stand, which was also done by them, unfortunately, and they were both fucking retarded. Now, on both of them, they had previews for other Republic Pictures movies, and they were just as bad. Or at least they look like it. The CGI was. The fact that the movie monster was bad in the Langoliers was they looked like meatballs with mouths. They didn't look cool at all. And I guess B movies do that exact same thing. Like, sure, all their ideas are super creative, I would say. Sure, they bring something new to the table. But what they bring new to the table isn't necessarily good. Creative, not good. Like Sharktopus. Twin-headed shark attack. And basically fucking everything else that they do. They have Crocosaurus, which giant crocodiles have been done way too many times. I'm pretty sure the first one out of all the giant crocodile movies was Lake Placid, which was fucking brilliant, by the way. If you haven't seen Lake Placid, I suggest you watch it. Brilliant fucking movie. I think my favorite part for that movie was when the giant crocodile ate a bear. And it was hilarious. Because the bear, you should have seen the look on the bear's face. He was like, "Arr!" And he got eaten. It was hilarious. But after Lake Placid, everyone thought, hey, that was cool. Let's try it. Basically the same thing with all the snake movies, the giant snake movies. As soon as Anaconda came out, which got huge success, everyone else wanted to do it. Basically what B movies try and do is they take successful ideas and tweak them a little bit. Like everyone knows the movie Snakes on a Plane starring Samuel L. Jackson. Well, there's a B-movie company that made a movie called Snakes on a Train, which I'm assuming, I have not watched it, but I'm assuming it's pretty much the same. Now, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and say that all these movies are bad, because they're not all bad. Some of them are actually pretty good. Sure, they lack a budget, so all their actors are not very good. They don't have very good costumes or effects. And sure, it does make the movie bad. But if you hold it to the standard of what it actually is, if it was a big budget picture, millions of people would go see it. For most of them. Not all of them. Not Sharktopus, or half the shit's too stupid. Basically, I guess shark movies are also movie monsters. like Sharktopus and all that. And Jaws. Possibly it is the best shark movie out there. And I guess he's a movie monster. And movie monsters all started with, like, I'm guessing 4 or 5 main guys, which was the original Dracula, the original Frankenstein, Wolfman, Mummy, and Swamp Thing. Or not Swamp Thing, but the creature from the Black Lagoon. All 5 of those were the first monster movies. They're classics, and I guess everybody knows them. Because they're basically what started the horror genre. Although I do think Nosferatu was the first horror movie. I'm pretty sure in my research that's what came up. Because I know it came out in 1922. Or 1918, I forget. Same damn thing. But that's what it basically started as. Just everybody's fears. All the stuff that people thought went bump in the night came out then. But then, as time progressed, things started getting weirder. Like, then there became zombies. Which I actually read an interview with the guy, everybody knows George Romero. He made Night of the Living Dead, the originals. Well, he was not actually the creator of zombies. I'll tell you, he made the first zombie movie, but he wasn't the creator. There was a guy, I forget his name, but I own a book, fancy that is actually a book adaptation of the first 2 Night of the Living Dead movies, and it actually has an interview at the beginning with the guy who wrote them, and he and George Romero worked together on the first movie. And basically, when zombies first came out, they were just supposed to be super strong. That's it. Just people came back from the dead, were super strong, flipped cars. Basically like olden days Hulk. But this guy, I forget his name, he wanted to spice it up. He suggested that they eat people. That they're cannibals. Cannibals are very scary. Hannibal Lecter, Jeffrey Dahmer, so all those stuff didn't exist back then, but they thought, why not make it cannibals? So they did, and now it's a huge success. Now we have World War Z, and Night of the Living Dead, and Day of the Dead, and Dawn of the Dead, and Dick of the Dead, and Shaun of the Dead, and Face of the Dead, and Day of Seasons, and fucking tons of zombie fucking movies that all are old and boring because they're always the same. Hey, we're survivors. We're gonna go hide over here. Want to help us? Yeah, sure. I'm gonna betray you. Okay. You're gonna do something stupid. You're gonna die. Oh no. It's all boring. But I will say that I do have an idea for a zombie movie, which is completely original. I'm not gonna tell it. No. I'm not gonna spoil a damn thing until I get it produced by a major movie company. Because it's brilliant. I've thought of the whole damn thing myself. And let me tell you, if they make it right, out of my specifications, it's gonna be the best goddamn zombie movie you ever fucking saw. Because in my head, it looks pretty fucking cool. I already have many of the scenes, but that's besides the point. Many times in movies, people plan at what their monsters are like. Of course they have to. They get either people in suits, or the whole thing is CGI, or sometimes, like with Jaws, they'll get a puppet thing. But really, my favorite thing out of all movie monsters would be animatronics. Because if done well, sure, people in costumes is great. Like Predator and Alien, they're all people in costumes. The raptors in Jurassic Park are in costumes. They're great. Or at least sometimes the raptors were, I think. Anyway, but animatronics really make the movie good. Like, I don't care what you think. You could think, oh, CGI is awesome because it makes it look real. No, it doesn't. You don't bullshit yourself. It doesn't make it look real at all. But you could say, oh man, CGI is cool because it, like, breaks all the limits and it makes the actors gotta really try hard to act harder because nothing really exists. They're all in a green screen. Yeah, I admit, it makes the actors work harder. But if you think about it, no, it doesn't. Because basically, actors on the green screen floor, what they have to do is all they have to do is act normally. It's actually the people that put the scenes in to make everything coincide. Basically, when the actors step on the green screen, they just do their part. They either get attacked, whatever. And then they animate it. They haven't already animated the scene, and the actor has to go the right way. No. The CGI people actually the effects people have to get it perfectly. They have to be like, oh, he's here, so we gotta animate it so the thing's here. And shit like that. And, basically, animatronics are really the coolest thing, I think. Because it takes a lot of work and time. In the production of Jurassic Park, everyone knows the famous scene where the T-Rex is attacking their vans and shit. Well, a fun fact, if you haven't seen the behind the scenes of that, because it was raining, like, they actually had to keep stopping every 20 minutes because the T-Rex the animatronics would become all faulty because of the watering, so they'd have to, like, dry it off with towels and shit, and then wait, like, a half an hour before they could start again, so everything was dry. And it's cool because it puts problems, but it also looks great, because that looks realistic. It actually looks like it's there, because it physically is there. And I think the best animatronics that I've ever seen in movies, I'd say older movies, because they don't really use animatronics that much anymore. But the two best examples I can give you are both movie monsters. And that would be Jurassic Park. All the animatronics are fucking phenomenal. And actually an older movie, which would be Aliens. The sequel to Alien. Which, if you haven't seen it, the ending of the movie is a fight with a queen alien. And that is all done with animatronics. Yeah, didn't know that, did you? Yes. It wasn't a person in a costume because it was way too big. And it was basically Ripley, or I don't even remember her name. Basically Ripley, the main character, in a robot suit fighting this animatronic alien, which was brilliant scene, always stuck in my head as my favorite part of the movie. But movie monsters really, to wrap things up, they are a symbol of creativity, because everyone has to work their brains to come up with something new that hasn't been shown before. A lot of times, you may think, oh, vampire movies, too many of them. Werewolf movies, too many. Zombie movies, too many. But there are people still working their asses off to try and create new designs and new aspects of these things. And I really gotta give them credit, because I doubt I can make my own movie monster, because I can't draw for shit. And they gotta keep working really hard to make new movie monsters for the new movies that they come out with. And no, not all of those movies are good. Sure, you may not like... I'm trying to think of some. Apollo 18, which got bad reviews. I liked it. I loved it. I fucking thought it was awesome. But those little moon rock alien things, somebody had to design those, and it probably took them weeks, months, a year even, just to get the perfect design down. Even though if you couldn't see them that much, or that good, it still took a design, and it took them a long time, so you got to give them credit for it. And no, not all designs are good. Some are flawed. Very flawed. But you still got to give credit to the people for taking time out of their schedules to make something that we can all laugh at. And they probably laugh at it too. The people that make B-movies, I doubt that when they watch the finished product, they don't laugh their asses off. Saying, what the fuck is that? You call that a monster? That's shit. And they all laugh and have a good time. Well, that's all the time I have. I don't want to spend too long dwelling on this, but I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it has been interesting, which it wasn't. Shit. I gotta go finish some more monster movies, and I will see you never, because I'm never gonna see you. Fuck you, I don't care. Never gonna see your face again. You're gonna have to see mine, or you don't have to. Shut up. Leave me alone. I'm not gonna talk anymore.